Back now at 8:37, and our nation's colleges are now filled with students of every race, creed, and color. But in the book Fraternity, author Diane Brady reminds us that just 40 years ago, things were much different. Here's NBC's Craig Melvin with more. Craig, good morning.
Good morning to you, Natalie. The book traces the story of a Catholic priest named John Brooks and his revolutionary recruitment of a stellar class of black men to his small New England college group that would include successful attorneys, a Super Bowl champ, a Pulitzer Prize winner, and a Supreme Court justice. We sat down with Father Brooks for what turned out to be his last television interview. He died Monday at the age of 88. In many ways, this book turns out to be a testament to his life's work. Father John Brooks vividly remembered what many were saying about his idea to integrate the prestigious College of the Holy Cross.
I thought it was absolutely ridiculous, of course. Why are you bringing them in? I mean, they're not offering you anything. They're not going to help the school and all. I mean, they're reflective of the racial attitudes that were fairly consistent in the United States at that time.
That we as a people will get to the promised land.
In 1968, just months after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was killed and riots erupted around the country, the 44-year-old dean of students hopped in his white Pontiac GTO and headed for America's inner cities with full scholarships in hand. He was intent on fulfilling his mission at the nearly all-white Catholic University in Worcester, Massachusetts.
I think it was a moral obligation. The need that I saw for African-American students who, if they didn't get this opportunity, would be badly deprived.
In Detroit, he found a star basketball player named Stan Grayson. In Washington, D.C., a self-described studious mama's boy named Ted Wells. In New York City, Eddie Jenkins, a football standout who saw the cross as an opportunity and obligation.
There was a war going on, and it was a war in the streets. We felt that it was time for us to stake our claim. We just didn't want to come in and get a degree and join middle-class America. We wanted to basically build a new nation.
At first, some of the young men were skeptical about Brooks's idea.
Historically, black colleges gave great education to a lot of our young people. There's great schools to go to. You don't have to go to this Ivy League white school up in Boston.
They knew full well what was ahead of them.
There were a number who had little interest in getting to know us.
Nonetheless, they accepted the scholarships and started working on gaining acceptance.
We did not want to be treated like minorities, and we wanted to have an equal presence, a presence where we did not have to give up our identity.
They started by forming one of the country's first black student unions.
It started out with a group of brothers who wanted to be with each other, who wanted to come together with a strategy of survival.
They lobbied for more black students and professors, a diverse curriculum, and for solidarity's sake,
Ted Wells and myself, we were a few rooms past the bathroom.
They pushed for an all-black hall in one of the dorms. Many of the white students, alums, and faculty saw it as self-segregation, and it also surprised Father Brooks.
I thought it was a stupid idea at first, but the more I listened, it became clearer and clearer to me. They simply needed this kind of time together.
And the men would get together weekly at black student union meetings.
Holy Cross has been good to me and for me.
Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas also attended Holy Cross during that time.
It is I who owe the debt of eternal gratitude.
During the BSU meetings, Thomas and Wells would argue passionately about everything from race to history's most brilliant black intellectuals, philosophical differences that exist to this day.
The arguments that we had at 18, we continue to have at 60. And I see the world very differently than he sees the world. But with that said, there's a bond between everybody who went to Holy Cross during that period, and Father Brooks is a big part of that.
For many of the 20 men he recruited and the greater Holy Cross community, Brooks was there for life's marquee moments. The Vatican-trained priest most recently served as President Emeritus at a Holy Cross where women are 53% of the formerly all-male student body, and minority students are a quarter of the freshman class. Father Brooks continued to push for change into his 80s.
We should continually be searching for academically strong black students to come here and to engage in a strong curriculum and try to master something beyond here.
Like that trailblazing class of 1972, Eddie Jenkins went on to play for the undefeated Miami Dolphins. Stan Grayson became a Wall Street executive and former deputy mayor of New York City. And Ted Wells is one of America's most prominent trial lawyers.
We developed our sense of confidence and our sense of leadership, and the things we learned at Holy Cross really resulted in our being successful.
Father Brooks was teaching a seminar at Holy Cross as recently as this past school year. He will be buried next Monday, of course, on the campus of Holy Cross, where he spent so many decades working on behalf of the students. The men that he recruited say they are saddened by his death, but grateful for the impact that he had and in their lives. Natalie?
What a great honor for you to have the opportunity probably to get one of his last interviews.
Yeah, it was such a remarkable man, and what's just as remarkable is the strength of the bond that he managed to maintain with all of those students for all of these years.
Had such an impact on them, clearly. Craig Melvin, great story. Thanks so much.